The text message from my mother flashed on my phone screen like a warning light before an impending storm. Maya, I hear you're still having a tough time in LA. I've got a cleaning job for you at the family reunion. Good pay, let me know. A sharp, bitter laugh escaped my lips as I stared at the words. My name is Maya, and I run Hollywood's most exclusive concierge service. Not that my family has any idea. To them, I'm still the reckless one who left Louisiana 5 years ago, chasing what they called a fantasy. You're not actually thinking about taking this, are you? Alia's voice crackled through my AirPods as I paced my sleek Malibu office. The floor-to-ceiling windows framed a stunning view of the Pacific, a daily reminder of how far I'd come. Actually, I am, I said, already piecing together a plan. Mom needs someone to clean the venue for the reunion. Imagine her face when she realizes that venue is my villa. You are deliciously wicked, Alia chuckled, but why not just tell them about your success? I sank into my leather chair, spinning slightly as my eyes landed on an old photograph on my desk. My mother, Caitlin, at my high school graduation, her expression tight with disapproval as I announced I was heading to business school instead of following the family's medical legacy. Remember what she said when I started my company? Maya, stop playing businesswoman and get a real job like your sister. Well, now I want her to see exactly what playing businesswoman looks like. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was my perfect sister, Vanessa. Hey, sis, heard Mom offered you the cleaning gig. Don't mess this up, okay? We need the venue spotless. I smirked and typed back, don't worry, everything will be flawless. Alia's tone softened. Are you sure about this? Your mom isn't exactly gentle. That's exactly why I'm doing it, I replied, pulling up the rental contract for my villa. 4 years, she's treated me like a failure. Every call, every holiday, it's always why can't you be more like Vanessa, or when are you getting a real career? I started drafting an email to my staff, laying out instructions for the charade. And the best part? Dad called yesterday to check on me, wanted to make sure I could still afford rent. Meanwhile, I'm managing multi-million-dollar estates and closing deals with celebrities. Speaking of which, Alia cut in. TMZ is dying to know who handled Brad Pitt's secret wedding last month. Should I leak a little hint? No, discretion is our selling point. Let them wonder. I sent off the email and leaned back. Besides, I have a different revelation in mind. Another message from Mom popped up. Maya, about the cleaning job. I exhaled slowly, thinking about the family reunion just 2 weeks away. Everyone would walk through my home, admiring it, assuming it was just another luxury rental. You know what's really ironic, Alia? I mused. Mom had dreams like mine once. Before she married Dad, she wanted to start her own business, but she gave it up for something practical. And now, she spends her time tearing down other people's dreams instead. And now you're about to show her what happens when you don't give up, Alia finished. Exactly. I typed out my response. I'll do it. Send me the details. Just promise me one thing, Alia said. When the truth comes out, go easy on her. Finding out her struggling daughter is actually a millionaire might be a lot to take in. I glanced at the framed magazine article on my office wall. L.A.'s Ghost Entrepreneur, the invisible hand behind Hollywood's most exclusive events. The journalist praised my discretion, my influence, but they'd never gotten a name, let alone a face. Don't worry, I murmured, a small smile curling my lips. I'm not out for revenge. I just want her to see me, really see me, for once. My phone buzzed again. Mom had sent the address. Perfect. The family arrives at 3 p.m. in 2 weeks. Don't be late. Oh, I'll be there, right where I belong. 2 weeks later. Maya, the florist's just arrived. Maria, my head of household staff, called from the foyer. Where should they place the arrangements? I descended the grand staircase, taking in the orchestrated chaos of preparations. Large centerpieces in the dining room, smaller ones throughout the lounge, I directed, watching the transformation unfold. Maria gave me a knowing look. And just to confirm, when your family arrives. I smirked. I'm just the cleaner. Shaking her head, she chuckled. Still think this is crazy. The morning sun bathed the marble floors in gold as I turned to face the entrance. Soon, my family would step inside, completely oblivious to the fact that their struggling relative owned every inch of this place. Maya. Alia burst through the doors, tablet in hand. The caterers need final approval on the menu and, wow, this place looks unreal. I glanced around, satisfaction settling in my chest. Good, I said, straightening a perfectly placed flower arrangement. "Let's give them a show they'll never forget." "Thanks," I said, directing a worker carefully positioning a towering arrangement of white roses. "A little more to the left, perfect. How's the guest list looking?" Alia skimmed through her tablet. "Everyone's confirmed. Your mom called twice this morning to make sure the cleaning lady would be here on time." I let out a quiet laugh. If only she knew. "And Maya?" One of the newer staff members hesitated before approaching me. "There's a man at the gate. Says his name is Isaac." My heart jumped. "Isaac? He wasn't supposed to be here until..." Surprise! His deep voice rang through the foyer as he strolled in, sharp as ever in a tailored suit. "Thought I'd come early to enjoy the show." I hugged him, grateful for his presence. Isaac had been my first major client when I launched my concierge service. Over time, he'd become more than a business partner, he was a true friend, and one of the few who knew the full truth about my success. "So," he said, smirking, "how's our little revenge mission coming along?" "It's not revenge," I insisted. Isaac arched a knowing brow. "Okay, maybe a little," I admitted. Alia chuckled. "It's really more about setting the record straight. Speaking of which," she added, scrolling again, "Vanessa just posted on Instagram something about visiting a stunning Malibu estate for the reunion. Should we be worried?" I shook my head. "She can post all she wants. She has no idea the house is mine." I checked my watch. 2 hours until showtime. "Maria, is the staff prepped?" "Yes, Miss Maya," my head housekeeper confirmed. "We'll treat you like any other cleaning service employee when your family arrives." She hesitated, though. "I still don't understand why you'd let them think." "Because," Isaac interjected, "some lessons have to be learned the hard way. Trust me, I've been there." The next hour passed in a blur. I swapped my usual attire for plain black slacks and a crisp white shirt, my cleaning uniform, and tucked my real clothes away in the staff quarters. The villa was immaculate. Fresh flowers adorned every surface, champagne chilled in crystal buckets, and trays of gourmet appetizers waited to be served. "Maya." Alia caught my arm just as I was finishing a final walkthrough. "Your mom just texted, they're 15 minutes out." I exhaled, nerves finally creeping in. "How do I look?" "Like the most successful cleaning lady on the planet," Isaac teased. "Remember," I reminded the staff, "as far as my family knows, this villa belongs to one of Isaac's business associates. I'm just here to clean. Understood?" They nodded, barely suppressing their amusement. Maria handed me a feather duster with an exaggeratedly serious expression. "Don't forget your tools of the trade, Miss Maya." "You're all enjoying this way too much," I muttered. "Cars incoming," someone called from the window. I glanced at the security feed as 3 vehicles pulled up to the gate. Mom's voice crackled over the intercom. "Hello? We're here for the Richardson family reunion." Isaac pressed the gate button. "Welcome, drive on up." Heart pounding, I slipped through the side entrance, feather duster in hand. Through the window, I saw Mom step out of the car, her jaw dropping as she took in the estate. Vanessa was already posing for selfies in front of the fountain. "Maya," Isaac said quietly, "you don't have to go through with this. We could just tell them." "No," I said firmly. "Mom needs to see what happens when you believe in yourself, even when no one else does." I gripped the feather duster a little tighter. Besides, after 5 years of keeping this secret, I think I deserve a little dramatic reveal. The doorbell rang. Mom's voice carried through the heavy doors. "I hope that cleaning girl is here. This place needs to be spotless." Isaac squeezed my shoulder before moving to open the door. "Showtime, boss." I stepped into the shadows of the side hallway, watching as my family entered my home, their faces filled with awe. Mom ran her finger along a polished table, already checking for dust. "Maya?" she called. "Are you here?" Taking a deep breath, I stepped forward, feather duster poised like a queen's scepter. "Don't worry, Mom," I said sweetly, "everything will be absolutely perfect." Mom barely glanced at me, already surveying the grand foyer. "Thank goodness you're here. This place is enormous, I hope you're up to the job." Vanessa circled me, her designer heels tapping against the marble floor. She eyed my uniform with a smirk. "Nice look, sis, very professional." Her tone said everything her words didn't. "Appreciate the compliment," I said, gripping my feather duster. "Can I take your bags?" Dad stepped in, pulling me into a quick, warm hug. "You look good, sweetheart. Are you eating enough? I can send you some extra money if..." "I'm fine, Dad," I assured him, catching Isaac's amused glance from across the room. "Let me show you to your rooms." As I led them up the curved staircase, Vanessa's voice rang through the space. Oh my god, is that an original Rothko? This place must be worth millions. The owner has excellent taste, Isaac said smoothly. I'm sure Maya can tell you all about the artwork, she spends a lot of time cleaning it. I shot him a warning look, but he only grinned. Mom suddenly stopped in her tracks, turning sharply. You let her handle priceless artwork? That doesn't seem wise. Mom, Alia chimed in, stepping out from one of the guest rooms. Maya's more capable than you think. Mom blinked in surprise. Alia, what are you doing here? Helping Maya, she answered smoothly. You know, with the cleaning. Vanessa snickered. Of course you are, you two always were inseparable. I guided them through the guest rooms, each one grander than the last. Mom ran her fingers over every surface, her expression tightening when she found nothing to critique. Dad, on the other hand, kept trying to slip me $20 bills whenever Mom wasn't looking. The view is incredible, Mom admitted as she gazed out at the ocean. But Maya, honey, don't you think you should focus on finding a real career instead of cleaning other people's success? I opened my mouth to reply, but before I could, Maria appeared in the doorway. Excuse me, the caterers need direction on the appetizer service. I'll handle it, I said quickly. But Mom's eyes narrowed. Why would the caterers ask the cleaning girl for instructions? Silence settled over the room. And just like that, the first crack in the illusion had formed. I help coordinate everything, I said smoothly, keeping my tone neutral. It was all part of the service, after all. Vanessa barely looked up from her phone. Well, at least you're moving up from just pushing a mop. Baby steps, right? Across the room, Alia shot me a sharp look. She was seconds away from blowing my cover. I gave her a quick shake of the head. Not yet. Before anyone could say more, Isaac stepped in effortlessly. Speaking of service, why don't we head downstairs for drinks? Maya has things handled up here. As the others moved toward the staircase, Dad lingered behind, his brows drawn together in concern. Princess, I hate seeing you like this. You had so much potential. I swallowed the lump in my throat and forced a small smile. Dad, please, I'm fine, really. Downstairs, the party was in full swing. My staff moved seamlessly, serving champagne and hors d'oeuvres, while I played my role, adjusting decorations, dusting surfaces, blending into the background. It wasn't lost on me how surreal it was, cleaning my own home while my family admired it. Maya, Mom called, frowning at a window. There's a smudge here, can you take care of it? I moved to grab a cloth, but Isaac intercepted me with a smirk. You know, he said, loud enough for the whole room to hear, it's funny how some people can stare directly at success and still not recognize it. Mom turned to him with a sharp glare. Excuse me? Nothing, he replied smoothly, just thinking out loud. Then, to me, Maya, about that window. Before I could respond, Vanessa let out a dramatic gasp, eyes glued to her phone. Oh my god, you guys, this house belongs to that mystery entrepreneur everyone's been talking about, the one who handled Brad Pitt's wedding. My stomach clenched. Across the room, Alia nearly choked on her champagne. Mom's interest peaked instantly. What are you talking about? Vanessa spun her phone around, showing off an article from a gossip site. Look, they say the owner lives right in this area, and the description perfectly matches this place. Can you imagine being that successful? She glanced at me then, expression shifting into something pitying. Meanwhile, I prompted, keeping my voice even. Vanessa waved a hand dismissively. Oh, you know, not everyone can be a success story. Someone's gotta do the cleaning, right? The room fell into an awkward silence. Even Mom looked a little uncomfortable. Right, I said softly, setting down my feather duster. Someone has to do the cleaning, and someone has to own the house being cleaned. Isaac took a step forward like he wanted to say something, but I caught his eye. Not yet. Mom exhaled, her tone shifting into something almost gentle. Maya, honey, maybe we could help you find some courses at the community college. It's never too late to. Actually, I cut in, picking up a glass of champagne from a passing tray. I think it's time for a toast to success, and to seeing things as they really are. Confusion flickered across their faces. Mom opened her mouth, probably to scold me for drinking on the job, but before she could, Maria appeared beside me, looking hesitant. Maya, there's a call for you in the office. Something about the Tokyo contract? The silence that followed was deafening. The Tokyo contract? Mom echoed, her voice cracking. Why would a cleaning girl? I'll take it in the study, I said smoothly, already stepping away. Excuse me. As I left, I caught Vanessa's hushed, frantic whisper. Did she just say, "Am Maya?" I slipped into my study, closing the heavy doors behind me. On my desk, the security feed displayed my family, now huddled in shock, whispering furiously. Isaac was doing his best to keep them occupied, spinning casual stories about the art collection. A side door creaked open, and Alia slipped in. That wasn't really a call from Tokyo, was it? I let out a breath, shaking my head. Maria's getting way too good at this game. I sank into my leather chair, letting the familiar comfort of my workspace ground me. But did you see their faces? Alia grinned. Girl, I thought your mom was gonna faint when Maria called you Maya. She perched on the edge of my desk. Maybe it's time to. A firm knock interrupted her. Maya? It was Isaac. Your mom has questions. A lot of questions. I barely had time to brace myself before the door swung open. Not just Isaac, my entire family stood in the hallway. Mom pushed past him first, eyes darting around the study until they locked onto me. What is going on? She demanded. Why are you in here instead of working? And why did that woman call you? Because that's what my staff calls me, I said evenly, standing behind my desk. Would you like to sit down? Staff? Vanessa's voice wobbled. What staff? Dad stepped into the room next, but unlike Mom and Vanessa, his eyes landed on something else, the awards on the walls, the framed magazine covers, the neatly arranged business files with my company's name on them. His expression softened. Princess. Don't encourage her, Frederick, Mom snapped. She turned back to me, voice sharp. Maya, explain yourself, now. I picked up a magazine from my desk and held it out to her. Maybe this will help. I flipped it open to page 37. Mom's hands trembled as she read the headline aloud. The Invisible Empire, How One Woman's Discreet Concierge Service Became Hollywood's Best-Kept Secret. Vanessa gasped. Wait, that's your company? The one that handled Brad Pitt's wedding? Mom whispered, her face going pale. But that can't be. Can't be what? I asked, my voice calm. Me? The failure? The disappointment? The one who needed to get a real job? Mom sank into the nearest chair, gripping the magazine like it might vanish. This is some kind of joke. Isaac stepped forward, his voice steady. It's not a joke, Caitlin. Maya's company is one of the most successful in Los Angeles. I've been her business partner for years. Partner? Mom's head snapped up. You said you were just friends. Who gave her cleaning work? Isaac chuckled. Cleaning work? No, Caitlin. I gave her my investment portfolio to manage, and it was the best business decision I ever made. A notification pinged on my computer. Another celebrity booking. The irony wasn't lost on me. Dad finally found his voice. So this house is mine, I confirmed. Everything you've admired tonight, the art, the view, the business, I built it. It all belongs to me. Vanessa collapsed onto the couch, her carefully polished composure shattering. But. She shook her head in disbelief. You never said anything. I took a slow sip of my champagne and finally allowed myself a smile. Maybe you just never asked. All those times I offered to help, all those times you looked down on me, that's what you thought. My voice came out sharper than I intended. All those family gatherings where you treated me like I was nothing? Maya, Aaliyah murmured in warning. But I wasn't finished. I stepped out from behind my desk, my heart pounding. For 5 years, I built this company from nothing. For 5 years, I handled the most exclusive events in Hollywood, and for 5 years, I sat through every backhanded comment, every condescending remark, every reminder of how much of a disappointment I was to you. Mom shot up from her seat like she'd been burned. I need some air. Before I could stop her, she turned and strode out. Mom, wait, I called, but Dad's firm hand on my arm held me back. Let her go, Princess, he said softly. This is a lot to take in. Through the security feed on my desk, I watched her step onto the terrace, hands pressed to her face. The golden glow of the sunset stretched across the lawn, making her look small in a way I'd never seen before. Vanessa spoke up, her voice quieter than usual. Why didn't you tell us? I turned to her, expression unreadable. Would you have believed me? Would any of you have believed that your struggling little Maya could build something like this? The silence was all the answer I needed. Isaac cleared his throat. Maybe we should all take a moment, sit down, process this over dinner. Dinner? I glanced at my watch. Right. The chef should be serving in about 20 minutes. I nodded at Maria, who had appeared in the doorway. Please let everyone know we're ready. Maria hesitated for just a second before nodding, a small smile tugging at her lips. Yes, Maya. As my family shuffled toward the dining room, still looking dazed, I stole a glance at Mom through the window. She stood at the edge of the terrace, staring out at the ocean. Her shoulders shook slightly. This wasn't how I'd planned for them to find out, but maybe it was better this way, quick, like ripping off a bandage. Now came the hard part, dealing with the wound beneath. Dinner was a masterclass in awkwardness. The food was exquisite, the chef's courses arriving in perfect succession, but the only sounds at the table were clinking silverware and the occasional cleared throat. Mom hadn't spoken a word since coming back inside, but her red-rimmed eyes said plenty. Dad finally broke the silence. The food is excellent. Did you hire a private chef, Maya? I took a sip of my wine. Marcus has been my full-time chef for 2 years now. Vanessa exhaled sharply, pushing her plate away. I cannot believe I sent you grocery gift cards for Christmas. I lifted a shoulder. They were useful. Stocked the staff break room nicely. Aaliyah shot me a warning look under the table. Isaac clinked his glass, standing. I think it's time for a proper toast. Mom's head snapped up. A toast? To what? To being lied to by my own daughter? Mom. No, Maya. Her voice cracked as she cut me off. You sat there, for years, and watched us treat you like. She trailed off, her hands shaking. Like what? I challenged. Say it. Like someone beneath you? Like a failure? That's not fair, Vanessa muttered. Not fair? A humorless laugh escaped me. Let's talk about fair, then. Remember last Thanksgiving, Vanessa? When you offered to hire me as your housekeeper? Or Christmas, when Mom told everyone not to enable my California fantasy by giving me real gifts? Dad set down his fork, sighing. Maya, we were worried about you. No, I said, looking him directly in the eye. You were judging me. There's a difference. Isaac cleared his throat. If I may. His voice was even, but firm. I've known Maya for 5 years. I've watched her build something extraordinary. And do you know what pushed her to succeed? Mom's grip on her wine glass tightened. Enlighten us. Every comment, every dismissive look, every single time you made her feel like she couldn't do it. Isaac's voice softened. She turned your doubt into fuel. Mom's face crumpled. Is that true? Her voice was barely above a whisper. Is that why you never told us? To prove us wrong? I set down my glass carefully. Do you remember what you said when I told you I wanted to start my own business? She swallowed hard. I said it wasn't practical, that you were throwing your life away on a pipe dream. I shook my head. No, you said, don't be like me. Silence suffocated the room. Vanessa frowned. What does that mean? I exhaled slowly. It means Mom had dreams once, too, but before she married Dad, before she became the person you see now, she wanted to start her own business, and people talked her out of it. They convinced her it wasn't practical. Dad reached for Mom's hand, but she pulled away. How dare you, she whispered. How dare you use my past against me? I met her eyes. I'm not using it against you, Mom. I'm proving what happens when someone doesn't let fear win. Aaliyah suddenly pushed her chair back. I think we should give them a minute. Everyone but Mom slowly filed out, leaving us alone in the dimly lit dining room. Through the windows, the city lights stretched across the horizon like tiny scattered stars. Mom exhaled shakily. I wanted to open a catering company. Did I ever tell you that? I shook my head. No, you only ever mentioned wanting to start something once. She traced the rim of her wine glass. I had it all planned out, menu ideas, business cards printed, but my parents, they said the same things I said to you, that it wasn't practical, that I needed a real job. Her voice wavered. And now? She let out a quiet, bitter laugh. Now my daughter owns a multi-million-dollar company, and I'm the fool who tried to make her be a doctor instead. She wiped at her eyes. You're not a fool, Mom. I moved to sit beside her. You're just someone who let fear win. And then you tried to protect me from making what you thought was the same mistake. Her voice was barely a whisper. By becoming exactly what I hated most about my own parents. She shook her head, staring at nothing. The irony would be funny if it wasn't so painful. I hesitated before saying, it's not too late, you know. She looked at me sharply. Maya, I'm too old. I gave a small smile. There's no such thing. And as it turns out, I know someone with a knack for making businesses thrive. For the first time that evening, a small smile played on Mom's lips. Is that your way of offering to help me? I shrugged. Maybe. Or maybe it's my way of reminding you that dreams don't come with expiration dates. Her hand hesitated before reaching out, resting lightly on mine. Maya. I'm sorry, for all of it. I know, I gave her fingers a gentle squeeze. But maybe we can take everything that's happened and turn it into something new, something better. Through the open doorway, I caught sight of the others pretending not to eavesdrop. Vanessa was subtly dabbing at her eyes, while Dad looked at me with an expression I'd never quite seen before, pride. Mom straightened, a new sense of resolve settling over her. All right then, tell me about this Tokyo contract. A slow smile spread across my face. Maybe this was the real success, not the empire, not the wealth, but this moment of understanding between us. Actually, I said, I could use your catering expertise on this one. I led them into my operations hub, the heart of my company. A sleek command center lined with digital screens displayed live feeds from various events, security footage, and carefully synchronized project timelines. This, I said, gesturing around, is where everything comes together. Vanessa stepped closer to one of the displays. Wait, is that the governor's charity gala? Next week, I confirmed, highly confidential, of course. Mom stood in the center of the room, her earlier emotions giving way to curiosity. Show me how it works. I pulled up the Tokyo contract on the main screen. It's a high-profile corporate merger celebration. The client wants something groundbreaking, a fusion of traditional Japanese culture with modern luxury. Dad let out a low whistle as he adjusted his glasses. Looks expensive. I smirked. That's where Mom's expertise could be a game changer. The client specifically requested a menu that honors both companies' heritages. Mom's eyes flickered with something, interest. I still have my old recipe books, you know. The ones from when you were planning your catering business? I asked. I know. I found them in the attic last time I visited, made copies, actually. I opened a drawer and pulled out a leather-bound portfolio, handing it to her. Her hands trembled as she ran her fingers over the familiar cover. You kept these? She whispered. Of course. She flipped through the pages, scanning handwritten notes and carefully detailed menus. They inspired me, you know, I said, proved that I wasn't the first Richardson woman with big dreams. Vanessa peered over Mom's shoulder. Oh my God, you used to make these desserts for special occasions. Before I convinced myself they were just hobby recipes, Mom murmured. Isaac, who had been quietly observing, stepped forward. Caitlin, there's a growing demand for authentic fusion cuisine in high-end corporate events. Mom's gaze snapped to him. Are you saying? I folded my arms. He's saying maybe it's time to take those business plans off the shelf and modernize them. Maya. Mom hesitated. Just hear me out. We have the infrastructure, the client network, and the resources. What we don't have is someone with a deep understanding of both traditional and modern cuisine. Someone who can create truly one-of-a-kind dining experiences. She studied me warily. And you think that's me? I know it's you. I tapped a few keys, pulling up another file. Remember that peach cobbler you reimagined with Japanese mochi? She blinked. Of course, that was just an experiment. Well, I had our chef recreate it for a tech CEO last month. I turned the screen toward her. He called it revolutionary. You used my recipe? Your innovation, I corrected. The way you instinctively knew how to blend flavors and cultures. That's what this industry needs. Aaliyah, who had been unusually quiet, finally spoke up. The influencer market would love this. The social media buzz alone would be insane. Social media? Mom looked uneasy. I barely know how to use Facebook. That's what a team is for, I reassured her. You focus on the creative side, we'll handle the marketing. Vanessa suddenly gasped, grabbing Mom's arm. Oh my God, Mom, do you remember that wedding cake design you sketched for my Sweet 16? The floating tears, the hand-painted fondant? Mom chuckled softly. That was just a fun idea. Too ambitious. I tapped my screen again. This was a fantasy. The monitors filled with images of a nearly identical cake, crafted by a world-renowned pastry artist. It sold for $50,000 last year. Mom sat down hard, her portfolio still clutched in her hands. I had no idea. Isaac smiled. Sometimes we need someone else to recognize our potential before we can see it ourselves. I glanced at him, kind of like how you saw mine. He shook his head. No, you saw yours. I just gave you the space to prove it. Dad cleared his throat, his voice gentler than I'd heard in years. Katie, he said, using Mom's old nickname, maybe it's time to listen to our daughter. She seems to know what she's talking about. Mom's eyes swept the room, the bustling operation, the screens filled with global events, the portfolio in her lap, and then, me. You'd really want to work with me, after everything? I met her gaze. Mom, I didn't build all this just to prove you wrong. My voice softened. Asterisk, I built it to prove you right. To show that when you believe in something, truly believe in it, amazing things happen. She exhaled shakily. Even if I'm starting at 58? Especially then, Isaac interjected. Experience is something no young entrepreneur can manufacture. Mom slowly stood, a look of newfound determination on her face. Show me the Tokyo contract again. A grin spread across my lips. Ready to revolutionize corporate catering? She let out a breath. Steady now. No. Ready to make up for lost time. Vanessa let out an excited squeal and threw her arms around Mom. Dad, never one for overt emotion, subtly wiped at his eyes. Aaliyah was already typing furiously on her tablet, probably drafting press materials. Mom turned to me. Just one condition. I lifted a brow. Oh? No more secrets. No more hiding success to protect feelings. I held out my hand. Deal. She shook it firmly. Deal. As we sealed our promise, I knew this was just the beginning. I caught Isaac's knowing smile. This wasn't just about business, it was healing, redemption, and a fresh start all wrapped into one. Now, Mom said, slipping into her business mode, about that mochi cobbler. Isaac lifted his glass, addressing the family and staff gathered in my villa's expansive living room. To new beginnings, he said, his voice carrying through the space, and to long-hidden talents finally getting the spotlight they deserve. The sun had set hours ago, but no one was ready to call it a night. Mom had spent the last 2 hours animatedly outlining her vision for the catering division. Any hesitation she once had was gone, replaced by years' worth of creative energy finally set free. Maya, she called from where she sat, surrounded by digital mock-ups. What if we called it Heritage Fusion? Too obvious? Actually, Alia chimed in, it's perfect for SEO. Plus, it tells a story. A story? Mom frowned slightly. Your story, I said, settling onto the couch beside her, a blend of past and present, tradition and innovation, just like you. Vanessa, who had been unusually quiet, suddenly spoke. I can't believe I never knew about any of this. Mom's dreams, Maya's success. Was I really that oblivious? Yes, everyone answered at once, before bursting into laughter. Vanessa rolled her eyes but grinned. Fair enough, but I want to help too. I have a solid social media following, I could promote. Absolutely not, Mom interrupted. The room went silent as we all turned to her in surprise. What? She said defensively, I might be new to business, but even I know we need a real marketing plan, not just family favors. I couldn't help but smile. Look at you, already thinking like an executive. Speaking of executives, Dad interjected, shouldn't we discuss the logistics, investment, risks? Already covered, Isaac said smoothly, pulling out his tablet. Maya and I drafted preliminary paperwork while you were all busy in the kitchen testing that mochi recipe. Mom's eyes widened. Paperwork? I nodded. If you're ready, there's a position waiting for you, Executive Creative Director of Heritage Fusion, a subsidiary of my company, full creative control, competitive salary, and a 30% ownership stake. 30%? Mom gasped. Maya, that's too much. It's not charity, I said firmly, it's business. Your expertise, your recipes, your vision, they have value. I'm just the first person to put a number on it. Mom's hand shook slightly as she reached for the contract. I never thought, at my age. Age is just a number, Isaac said gently. Success doesn't check birth certificates. And honestly, Alia added, the industry is starving for authenticity. Your experience? It's gold. Mom looked around at the expectant faces surrounding her. Frederick, she finally asked Dad, what do you think? He took her hand. I think it's time you stop asking other people what they think. What do you want, Katie? She straightened her shoulders, determination settling in. I want to sign that contract. The room erupted into cheers. As Mom picked up the pen, I caught a glimpse of the woman she must have been decades ago, the one with dreams too big for her small town to contain. As the celebration settled, I cleared my throat. One more thing. All eyes turned to me. The Tokyo event, it's in 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Mom's excitement briefly flickered into panic. That's soon. I haven't even started. Actually, I said, nodding toward Maria, you already have. Maria wheeled in a cart draped in linen, stacked with covered dishes. One by one, she unveiled them, perfect miniature versions of the fusion concepts we'd casually discussed throughout the night. Mom's mouth fell open. You planned this? I shrugged. You always said preparation is key. She picked up a small dish, a wagyu beef slider with wasabi aioli, And these are my recipes? With some professional refinements, I admitted, but the heart of them? Pure Caitlin Richardson magic. Vanessa was already snapping photos. Mom, these are insane. You've been holding out on us. No, Mom said softly, eyes locked on me. I've been holding back on myself, but not anymore. She smoothed her dress, the same unconscious gesture I'd seen before every special occasion, every family dinner she had ever prepared. Then, she lifted her chin. All right, team, we have 3 weeks to change the game. Who's in? Glasses lifted. To Heritage Fusion, Isaac toasted. To Mom, I added. To second chances, Mom finished, her voice steady and sure. 3 weeks later, Tokyo. The applause was thunderous. The grand Tokyo ballroom shimmered under the chandeliers. The tables adorned with our fusion masterpieces, each dish a perfect balance of heritage and reinvention. Standing beside me at the podium, Mom squeezed my hand. She took a steady breath and addressed the room. When my daughter first brought me this opportunity, I thought it was impossible. The scale, the pressure, the expectations. She paused, scanning the crowd of industry leaders and executives. But impossible is just another word for not yet. As she spoke, I saw it, the confidence that had once been reserved for family dinners now lighting up an entire room. The hands that once nervously adjusted an apron now moved with purpose, commanding attention. Heritage isn't just about the past, she continued, it's about bringing it forward, letting it evolve, letting it grow, just like relationships. She turned to me, her eyes shining. Just like people. From their seats, Dad and Vanessa beamed with pride. Isaac lifted his glass in a subtle toast. Even the ever-composed Alia dabbed at her eyes. And as I stood beside Mom, watching her step fully into her power, I realized something. Sometimes, success isn't about proving people wrong. It's about giving them the chance to prove themselves right. And now, I stepped forward, voice steady with excitement. We have a little something special to share. Underneath each of your plates, you'll find an envelope. A soft murmur spread through the room as hundreds of guests lifted their plates, revealing elegant red envelopes tucked beneath them. Inside, Mom continued, her voice warm, is the original recipe that inspired tonight's main course. It comes straight from my personal collection, written 30 years ago, back when this was nothing more than a dream in a small Louisiana kitchen. I watched as our guests carefully unfolded the recipe cards, exact replicas of Mom's handwritten notes, complete with her bold ingredient tweaks and hopeful scribbles in the margins. Dreams don't expire, I added with a smile. Sometimes, they just need time to marinate. Laughter rippled through the crowd. In the back of the room, journalists from major news outlets were already typing furiously on their laptops. Our PR team had promised this event would make waves, but even they hadn't known about this special reveal. But, Mom continued, her voice softening, the real secret ingredient isn't on that card, it's standing right beside me. I turned to her, caught off guard. This wasn't in the script. My daughter taught me that success isn't about proving others wrong, she said, eyes shining. It's about proving yourself right. And sometimes, the people who challenge us the most are the ones who need their own dreams reignited. The room quieted, hanging on to every word. So yes, Heritage Fusion is about food, she went on, but it's also about legacy. It's about taking what we inherit, the recipes, the traditions, the ambition, and transforming them into something fresh, something even greater. Right on cue, the servers moved through the room, placing the final course in front of each guest, our signature peach mochi cobbler, the very dish that had started it all, proof that old dreams could find new life. I lifted my glass. To everyone here tonight, thank you for being part of our journey, but more importantly, thank you for letting us be part of yours. The applause was deafening. As we made our way back to our table, business executives were already lining up, eager to book future events. Vanessa was dabbing at her eyes with a napkin, while Dad sat back in his chair, looking like he might burst with pride. Not bad for a cleaning lady and her daughter, huh? I whispered. Mom laughed, a sound so free and light it made my chest ache. Not bad for a couple of dreamers who finally woke up. Just then, Isaac appeared beside us, tablet in hand. Ladies, the feedback is phenomenal. Social media is blowing up, and the Tokyo office just called. They want Heritage Fusion as their exclusive catering partner for all major events. Wait, seriously? Mom's eyes widened. That would mean that you're going to need more chefs. I finished, grinning. Think you're ready to take this to the next level? She straightened her shoulders, just like she used to before tackling a difficult recipe. Ready? Her smile was steady, determined. I'd been preparing for this my whole life. Later that night, as the evening wound down, Mom and I stood near the grand windows of the venue, gazing out at the glittering Tokyo skyline. Behind us, the last lingering guests were still raving about the food, the concept, the story. Maya, Mom said softly, remember when you asked me to clean that villa? I smirked. You mean my house? She shook her head, laughing. I was so focused on what I thought success should look like that I almost missed it when it was right in front of me. She turned to face me, her expression filled with something deeper than gratitude. Thank you for showing me another way. Thank you, I said, for being brave enough to take it. We hugged, and in that moment, the years of missed chances and misunderstandings melted away. We weren't just mother and daughter anymore, we were partners, creators, two people who had finally learned to dream together. Mom pulled back, a mischievous glint in her eye. So, about that fusion sushi burger idea I've been working on. I groaned playfully. Let me guess, you've already got the recipe written down somewhere? Better, she grinned. I've got an entire portfolio, and this time, I'm not hiding it in the attic. The Tokyo skyline stretched before us, a sea of golden lights. Behind us, the echoes of laughter, success, and second chances lingered in the air. The cleaning lady who built an empire. The mother who found her second chance. The daughter who finally found home. Together, we had written a whole new recipe for success. And this? This was just the first course. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Stay tuned.